Attackers incoming. Attackers incoming. Attackers incoming. Attackers incoming. Attackers incoming.
Alright, so I believe this is... Whoops, we're gonna get some echo there. I actually have to check what this match is for, and then change the title. But it is Crab versus Crane. Looks like Action Johnny got the passing fate. This must be for the Season 5 Cup. Yeah. So this is Action Johnny versus Farting Horse, it looks like. We have Crab splashing Unicorn and Crane splashing Lion. Okay, so we see a Wave the Crane. So the Savvy Politician gets to do the double honor there. Oops. So let's see, they both bid 5. Interesting. So Crane is always going to bid 5 there. I think that's expected. They like to bid high and draw a lot of cards. So with this Crab deck, Crab is running Unicorn Splash again. So there's 3 talismans, or sorry, 3 Spyglass, 1 Talisman of the Sun, 3 Wayfinders, and 2 Gaijin Customs. So we could potentially see Gaijin Customs to ready the Mia Satoshi at some point. I never know where to put this. Just leave it there, I guess. So yeah, he probably bid 5 there to try and dig for a Spyglass. You definitely want to see the Spyglasses early so you can start getting those card draws. We're seeing an attack at Defend the Wall. This is fire. So military fire, this is going to be kind of difficult to defend with Crab's current board state, unless he has some good cards in his hand. We're actually seeing a double defend. If you lose this ring, then Satoshi gets dishonored, and you definitely don't want that. I'm guessing he probably does not have the Spyglass, or we would have seen him play that before the conflict. So let's look at the Crane deck list again. Ooh, so we see the Talisman of the Sun coming out here. So what we might see here is Action Johnny using the Talisman to move to Shameful Display, which will allow him to honor the Miyasatoshi and dishonor the Nirishima. If that is the case, he could have just defended with Satoshi. However, that would leave him vulnerable to admit defeat. We do see the 1x admit defeat, so let me bring the Cranes deck list up here. It's Lion Splash for 3 ready for battle, 3 Legion of Ones. A lot of 1x cards. We have 1 admit defeat, 1 censure, 1 charge, 1 noble sack, 1 Kakita blade. That's interesting. Let's see. I don't see any attachment control. Yeah, so it looks like that Talisman is going to be safe here. We see a policy debate on this Kaiju Envoy. So yeah, the Kaiju Envoy kind of being not... Yeah, it would be ideal if you could just leave the Kaiju Envoy at home, but then if he does have the admit defeat, that would be very unfortunate, so... I think what we'll probably see is a Gaijin Customs to ready the Satoshi after this conflict. We'll see what they're bidding on the policy debates. Okay, the Crane player actually bids 3. He was only... I guess it was only 2 skill to 0, so he wanted to guarantee that win. So he is going to give up 2 honor. We see 2 charges, a Court Games, Gaijin Customs, Ornate Fan Rebuild, and 2 Watch Commanders. So yeah, the play this turn was definitely Talisman Gaijin Customs, but I imagine we will likely see the Gaijin Customs discarded here. Yeah, so he does discard Gaijin Customs. So now that he can't do that play, he says wait. Apparently there was a misclick. Not sure exactly what happened. So this does... It does appear that... oh, maybe he accidentally passed. Yeah, he did accidentally pass. So it appears that the Crane player is going to be able to get a free conflict, which is actually very unfortunate because it means that this Void Ring could... we could see a Void on Satoshi. Okay, so we are seeing the Talisman to Shameful. That also lets the Crane player get a free break on Shameful if he wants, which will probably be what happens. So what this will do is it will turn off Voice of Honor if he has it. So what was in the crab player's hand? So if he wants to, he could charge this Vanguard Warrior in order to put another Fate on Satoshi, which is looking like something that he might have to do, because Satoshi dying with this talisman, this is a one-time talisman. This is the only talisman in his deck, so okay, so we see a Legion of One. So he's actually breaking Shameful now. So I think you do charge in... Oh! Okay. So yeah, he does charge in the Vanguard Warrior. I saw the Fate was at 0, and I was like, wait, did he spend a Fate on something? But no, he does play the charge for Vanguard Warrior. I think that's the correct play. And now Box will allow him to win this conflict. So now you Box. And yeah, again, keeping this talisman around is going to be really important, because that is the only talisman in his deck, and with no attachment control from Crane, getting more value out of that is going to be very nice. So we see a Bonsai. This will not allow him to break unless he has another card. Wow, that is a 13 military skill Nourishma at this point. That's very, very big boy. Johnny's just going to pass. He doesn't really mind losing this Firewing. Crane will still be able to break Shameful. Oh, so we see the Kakita Blade. So it would have actually been interesting to see him play this before the policy debate, because that would have allowed him to not have to bid 3 possibly, and then he also would have gained 1 honor from winning the duel. I feel like I would have liked to see that. So we see Vanguard Warrior to put a Fate on Satoshi. Satoshi is going to pull up the Imperial Palace and stick that on one of his provinces. So he could have used that before the conflict ended, and put that on Shameful Display, but then you risk, if he has enough skill to break Shameful, then it will just get discarded. And of course he didn't know it was going to be Imperial Palace anyway, but he could have used it in that conflict. So Action Johnny's going to have to pass his conflict opportunity. Because of that, Gaijin Customs getting discarded. This is not a terrible position to be in, though. The bad thing is Crane might be able to break 2 provinces this turn, and you definitely don't want that. But at the same time, Crane's characters have no Fate on them after that Legion of One, so Crane's board is going to go away at the end of the turn, and you'll still have that Satoshi with the talisman. Interesting. So Crane is actually attacking this province with the Imperial Palace. It is either Fertile Fields or Meditations. So that's an interesting sort of mind game, which one Johnny decided to put it on. Okay, so it was Fertile Fields. I might have just attacked Defend the Wall as Crane. Maybe he's going to try and break this to discard the palace. We'll see what cards he has. I'm not seeing anything in his deck, though. Yeah, the only thing in his deck that buffs political is Ornate Fans, and then he could also play a political rival. So yeah, he will just resolve the air ring. Johnny's going to discard an Ornate Fan. Let's see if that was in his hand before. It was in his hand before. So we don't know what he drew off of Fertile Fields. Okay, so we're going to see characters leaving play. And I imagine do you keep the palace here? Oh yeah, forgot to F11 there. What is the other player's name? Yeah, so can we zoom in again? Nah, that looks weird. Okay, so we see, wow, so 3 holdings on Crab's side, and we see the other Imperial Palace for Crane. Actually, let me check what round this is. This is the round of 32 in the Discord Cup. So we see a Witch Hunter get played. So I imagine Action Johnny is going to bid 5 again here, because with the Witch Hunter, you really want to see a conflict character. He has the 3 skirmishers and the 3 wayfinders. So he'll be looking to find one of those. And then Crane just probably bids 5 because that's what Crane does. Crane actually decides to pass first, which, okay, so that allows Johnny to actually use his Satoshi to find another copy of Satoshi and get the fate. We see 1 Keeper Initiate in the discard pile. He actually discarded his, oh no, he discarded this card and then he used Imperial Storehouse. Okay. Oh wow. So Johnny actually bids 1 here. So it looks like he's going to try to go for the dishonor pressure at this point. We do know that he has 2 watch commanders in his hand, so that makes sense. And so with Crane only playing 1 character, I imagine he probably has the political rival. He's running 2 political rivals. So I think we'll probably see one of those come out. However, the covert can be countered by this favorable ground. Breaking the shameful on turn 1 was really big though, because that means that he won't be able to talisman over to shameful. He can still talisman. His last face down province should be, whoops, accidentally clicked the, his last face down province will be Meditations, and then Rally to the Cause under the box. So he can talisman people over to the Meditations. And we actually see them both passing their first conflict. So I think, so Johnny has basically 1 political character and 1 military character. So I think he wants to just make sure he can defend against whichever type of attack the Crane wants to do here. We'll see if Crane even attacks at all. At this point, he might just pass his second conflict. And I think if that happens, you go for a military attack as Crab, because the political rival being played from the hand would be unfortunate. So yeah, Crane might just be not attacking so that this talisman doesn't get used this turn. I think that might be the right play. We'll see if he passes his conflict. Oh, right. Sorry, I forgot to forgot to change the title. Thanks for reminding me. Let me do that real quick. Oops. Alright, I updated it. It might take a minute and then you might have to refresh it, but it should be up to date now. Yeah, so the Kakita blade, he's only running one Kakita blade. And yeah, he did pass his second conflict. It's an interesting card. The funny thing about Kakita Blade actually was that he policy debated with that character and then played the Kakita Blade on it after he had already policy debated. So I was saying maybe he should have just played that first. Because then you get the +2 political skill, and if you win, which he did, you get the +1 honor. So we see a Steward of Law come out pre-conflict. That's because of this Watch Commander. He doesn't want to lose an honor for playing it in the conflict. And then, so maybe we'll just see the Witch Hunter attack here. Yeah, so Witch Hunter attacks Meditations. He's contesting the Earth Ring. So I guess he wants that Keeper as well as the card draw, which makes sense since he bid 1 here. Did I assume what? Yeah, I mean he did end up playing that card to try and break, but I would have liked to see it come out earlier. So we see the double defense. This is for Luke, okay. So currently it's 5-4, and we see a Force Shame. So that's going to cost him 1 honor, putting him down to 5. So if he wants to, he can favorable ground in the Satoshi if he has a political buff. We're actually just going to see a policy debate, though. The Witch Hunter is currently at 3 to his 1, and he's at low honor, so he doesn't want to. So we get to see his hand. We get a Legion of 1, Admit Defeat, another Force Shame, 2 political rivals, Ready for Battle, Wave the Crane. So if I'm Action Johnny here, I'm thinking I probably don't win this conflict. Based on what's in this Crane player's hand. He's going to discard 1 of the political rivals. Meditations gets used on the Witch Hunter. So what you could have actually done was just favorable ground home the Witch Hunter to prevent the Meditations being used and just give up the conflict. However, that would also mean you don't get the policy debate. So, okay, we see an assassination to discard the Steward of Law. So now if you move the Satoshi in, you will be tied. And that also turns off the For Shame. But you do still need something. The Legion of One's active. The Way of the... Whoop. Okay, never mind. So he's just going to pass. Kind of interesting. I'm wondering now why he used the... Oh. So maybe he assassinated because he didn't want to get For Shamed again? And get dishonored? Well, no, because the... Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why he assassinated that. I guess he just wanted to get rid of it going into next turn because he does have another For Shame in hand. So we're going to see Johnny gets to keep the favor. Favorable ground is going to stick around, or not stick around here, because that province is broken. Assassination is max once per round. Maybe it's to set up Way of the Crab pressure for next round. That is a good point. He could be trying to set up a Way of the Crab in the future. Ooh. So we see a lot of really big characters on Crab's side. The Crane player actually chose to keep all of his characters. So we're going to see probably just Hida Kasada get played, and then he'll pass here. We'll see what Crane plays. The Asami could be really good here for digging out of this honor hole that he's in. When I'm up at 14 honor, it doesn't take much to get me to fire. Yeah, that's true. He does have a lot of honor, so paying the 3 honor to assassinate is probably not a big deal for him. It was the weird thing about it for me was that I didn't really see a reason to use it in that conflict because it didn't really affect the outcome of the conflict. So it was just like looking at the next turn. So I think the reason to assassinate the Stewart over the Narishma is just because he has the For Shame in hand. Of course, he could always draw For Shame, so even if he didn't have it in hand, might have been better. But yeah, just the Stewart of Law having the Courtier. So we're seeing Brash Samurai and Kaizen with 1 fate each. Let's see what the bids are here. Yeah. Yeah, so the other thing I was kind of confused about is if he wasn't going for the win anyway, then I think the Earth Ring was a mistake because Air, Void, and Water all had fate on them, so you could have taken the free fate. But at the same time, if you do win, you get your keeper, so I don't know. So we're seeing Crab still bidding 1, trying to put that dishonor pressure on. Crane is going to bid 2 and give him an honor. And then we see the Way of the Crane that we knew he had. So Crab is first player. This is another spot where you would really like to have a conflict character in hand. He actually hasn't been able to use Witch Hunter's ability yet this game. Of course, it has only been around for 1 turn, so... So he goes at the Meditations with the No Fate Witch Hunter. And he's doing Void Ring. So yeah, I really like Void Ring here because not only does it have 2 fate on it, but you're denying Void Ring, which could potentially kill this Satoshi. And I feel like the chances of him having a reprieve are fairly low, since he's only drawn maybe 2 or 3 cards since we saw his hand, and he didn't have one then. So we're going to see the Brash Samurai defend, it looks like. So he'll be able to honor himself. I believe we did see a Voice of Honor. Or, no, I guess we didn't. So yeah, unless Crane drew a Voice of Honor this turn on his 2 cards, he's not going to have that. He's still thinking about whether he wants to defend. So he does defend. He attempts to initiate Brash Samurai's ability, but Hida Kasada cancels it. I'm wondering if that was intentional. It is possible that he forgot about Kasada's ability. Or he could have a card that he wants to play. So we see a Charge Crisis Breaker. Interesting. So that will put him in breaking range of this Meditations. The other thing it'll let him do is that gives him a lot of stand effects this turn. So the Crisis Breaker will be able to get in on another military conflict if he wants, and then the Witch Hunter can sacrifice it to stand someone else up. So that is pretty strong, I think. So I think what Crane want to do probably is use their political conflict first, or just maybe don't even use the military conflict, although that feels bad with the current board. Yeah, blocking the honor with Kasada is really big, and it looks like he didn't play any other cards. So yeah, I think using the Brash Samurai there was just a mistake. He forgot that Kasada would cancel it. And yeah, he's not going to get the honor back now when it leaves play, so yeah, I don't think he could have a lot of cards that would really help here. So I mean, at the same time, unless you can stand the Samurai back up, you're not going to get another opportunity to use his ability anyway. So probably not the biggest mistake. And he couldn't use Meditations, so there wasn't really any way to get around Kasada there. Yeah, I think we using military first is a potentially huge mistake. So I think Luke is talking about the Crane player using military first, which I agree with. I'm not sure if he means Crab though. But yeah, I don't think that the Crane should attack military first here, because that will allow the Crisis Breaker to stand itself, and then the Witch Hunter can then sacrifice it to stand someone else. Yeah. So I think either you... So he actually passes. Yeah, Crab's attack was good. So yeah, he's just going to pass his conflict here. And I think we'll probably see... Yeah, this does sort of put Crab in an awkward spot, I think. Either you attack... I think either you attack with Satoshi or you just pass. And he does just pass his conflict. So we'll see what Crane does here. You can't stop the rival coming down, so get the most from your board while you can. Yeah, so Crane does have plenty of fate to play a rival here. It is his action, so we'll see. Okay, he doesn't play that. So it looks like he's going to... Yeah, it seems like even if you do the military attack, the Crisis Breaker is just going to come in, and Casada will probably defend. So you could try to duel somebody, I guess. Um, as it stands, you're going to tie favor. Um, so he actually just passes his second conflict opportunity. And that's sort of what I was thinking. Maybe you just pass that one. And as Crab as well, if you attack, we could just see the rival get dropped. So, and you would have to attack a face-down province here. So I think Crab might just pass his other conflict also. And we do see a reprieve on the Witch Hunter, so that's pretty strong. This is sort of turning into a game where nobody really wants to attack. We'll see that Crab is going to be able to keep the favor, which is good. I think we'll probably see Asami coming out on this next turn, because being able to steal some honor back is going to be important here. There are a lot of fade on the rings. That air ring is starting to look really valuable. So Crane is going to have 12 fate this turn. So he can play... Oh, so he actually discards the palace. So he's just going to try to dig for some more stuff here. And he finds a favorable ground, a Hotaru, a Doji representative, whereas Crab gets a Yasuki and a Steadfast Witch Hunter. So as Crab, maybe you just play Yasuki no fate, so that you can use Witch Hunter on it. Or you could put some fate on it since Crane doesn't want to assassinate here. And getting the card draw would actually be really nice. So I think you would actually want to play maybe Yasuki with 1 or 2 fate. We'll see what Crane plays here. Yeah, I was kind of thinking about that. I'm not sure if I really like keeping the Witch Hunter. Yeah, it does definitely. If he has a charge, then it's definitely a good play. But if he doesn't have a charge, I think you probably discard it. So I'm noticing that Crab has actually seen all 3 copies of Satoshi. And additionally, he's seen a storehouse and a palace. So I think that the only Imperial card left in his deck is Karada District. So what that means is it's actually going to be risky to activate Satoshi's ability here, so we might not actually see Satoshi get used anymore. I think that's what will happen, because you don't really want the Karada District. Crane has 3 katanas and 3 ornate fans. We've already seen the Kikita blade, so the Karada District isn't going to be very important. And yeah, with 2 face-down cards, it's pretty risky. So I think we probably just won't see Satoshi used again this game. It would be nice if he had another Satoshi in his deck so that he could put another fate on it, but unfortunately he's used both of them already. So unless he has a reprieve here, that does mean that this talisman is going to leave. So another good thing about the Shrewd Yasuki is that he is splashing Unicorn, so he does have spyglasses. And he actually has not seen a single spyglass this game, so being able to find one with the Shrewd Yasuki would be very strong, because then you can keep bidding one and draw a lot more cards than Crane is going to be able to draw here. We see an attack at Meditations. He knew this was Meditations because we've already seen the other three. And this is the Water Ring. Okay. So I do like this attack. What we will probably see is the Talisman, I would imagine, to move it to one of these other provinces. So he still gets to put it at a province he likes, but he has to use the Talisman for it, so that's good. I think the... Yeah, so Spyglass and Forgotten Library, definitely really strong when the opponent is on lower honor, because then you can just keep bidding one and you get to draw a lot of cards anyway. We see Quesada defending with a Watch Commander. So Johnny is out of fate here, but again, there are a lot of fate on the rings. Hope Crane remembers Quesada and Crab remembers Admit Defeat. Yeah, so we know that Crane, we actually do know that Crane has Admit Defeat in his hand. We saw that earlier off of a policy debate. So as long as Crane remembers that he has that, and yeah, so he can use Kaizen's ability to burn Quesada. That's a really good way to get rid of it. And then we can see the Admit Defeat. Yeah, that's what we see here. So I think this might be a mistake from Crab, actually, because at this point there's no way to stop the Admit Defeat. You don't have any fate to play a conflict character. So it feels like a mistake. However, playing it will allow him to take an honor with the Watch Commander. Yeah, you can sack a character to stand him back up, but that's not... So we actually see a Voice of Honor to cancel a rebuild. So I'm guessing he was trying to rebuild the favorable ground. It's kind of a strange sequence of events here. Because he could rebuild favorable ground and then bring in, I guess, a Witch Hunter. Yeah, after that Voice of Honor, that is going to make him lose an honor from Watch Commander. And then Admit Defeat comes out, and he loses another honor. So this is kind of the strength of Watch Commander, is you just put it in a conflict, and then your opponent sort of has the choice of, okay, do I want to win this conflict or do I want to keep my honor, right? And Crane playing 2 cards is going to put him down to 2 honor. So that is pretty dangerous. We see a Talisman to Fertile Field, so he's going to get to draw a card. That also stops Crane from breaking currently. And he really doesn't want to play any more cards, obviously. So we see a pass. So I guess you just pass here. And then he's going to bow somebody. Probably bow the Witch Hunter. Maybe. Mia Satoshi does have more political skill. Okay, so he bows Mia Satoshi. The reason I would want to bow the Witch Hunter is because it does have the Watch Commander on it. So what will probably happen now is he'll sacrifice Mia Satoshi with the Witch Hunter to stand, either to stand Quesada back up right now or to stand someone else back up later. Unless he has a reprieve. Satoshi looks like delicious witch hunter food right now. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. His attachment's already been used. He's bowed now. So unless you have a reprieve in hand, you're just gonna witch hunter him. He knows he has 2 honor, right? Yeah, he is in a very risky spot here. He does, however, have the Asami on board and the Hotaru. So what we'll probably see is a big political conflict from Crane where he steals an honor with Asami, and then either the air or the fire ring is going to be available here. So he'll get to either honor 2 guys, or I think it's fairly obvious that Crab is going to try to push an air attack. So yeah, he does have to defend. That's sort of the problem. So yeah, I think we'll see a military attack with air from Crab. So yeah, he's probably going to get denied that big attack. We do know that he has the political rival. So we could see him just defend with the Hotaru and then play political rival to get a stronger attack. Yeah, it's definitely looking bad for Crane here. Looks like the 2 witch hunters are going to go on an attack here. So the only province we've seen from Crane is Meditations. Oh wow, he's actually running Frostbitten Crossing, the air province. So if Crab hits that, okay, no, he hit Shameful. So this is good for Crane. It's going to let him honor his Hotaru. Crab will probably be able to get this air ring though and steal an honor. Kasada is turned off because that first conflict was won by the Crane player, so Shameful can just get used here right away. Yeah, Asami can't activate unless Crane can win the attack. But again, we know he has the political rival, so I think what we might see is him just play the rival and then covert the Yasuki, which will also prevent the Crab from drawing a card. And then he can attack with both of them for 6. Probably just go at the Fertile Fields because it's already been used. Does Johnny run Cloud the Mind? No, he does not. Yeah, so the only Shugenja in Crab right now are, if you're Unicorn Splash, then Wayfinder is one, and then you also have the Steadfast Witch Hunter. It's not really enough to make that Cloud the Mind consistent, so you don't really see that a lot in Crab. We actually see a second Watch Commander. So Crane cannot play a card, or he just dies. So yeah, he's going to have to take the break. And then we see a discard. He's going to resolve the air ring to take an honor. Crane is going to have this Kaizen leaving at the end of the turn to give him an honor back. So that will be nice. So I think Crane actually will be able to... So this is interesting as Crab. So you're going to use at least one Witch Hunter here. So the question is, who do you want to stand up? You could stand up Satoshi. Oh, that's true. Crab still has another conflict left. I didn't even think of that. So, yeah, so maybe you actually save the rival to defend. I think you definitely have to attack fire here. We do know that he has one rival in hand. So defending should not be a huge problem. The crane box also has not been used. So we see them both pass. So yeah, I expect a fire attack at Fertile Fields. Oh yeah, he does have favorable ground also. So yeah, the unopposed isn't even an issue. And we did not see Crab stand any of his characters, so he's only going to be able to defend with the Yasuki. He does first action box, so that's going to prevent Crane from using Asami here. It's also going to prevent him from using Crane box and then using Asami, so that's pretty good. Let's see what Crane does here. There are no watch commanders, so he's free to play cards. We'll see if he does. If he has a fan, I think now would be the time to play it. Oh. So he's just going to go ahead and play the political rival with 3 fate. That is going to put him up on political skill. And there's not really anything Crab can do in one action to go back up. He is going to use at court games to dishonor the rival. We see Asami get used. So that dishonor is potentially going to make Crane lose an honor somewhere down the line. We see Shrewd Yasuki get used, so he's going to get another card. It is still possible that he finds the reprieve here and is able to save one of these characters. Of course, there is an honored Hotaru on the other side of the board going into next turn, so that's going to be very large boards on both sides. Crane passes, and Crab also passes, so Crane is just going to win that conflict. We'll see if he maybe honors his Asami. That seems like a good idea. Yeah, that is what he does. Yeah, fire doesn't help immediately, but it does, when the Asami leaves play next turn, he'll get an honor back, and it puts her up to a 3-5, so it's not terrible. As Crab, I think you definitely go Earth Ring here. If you're feeling really risky, so why not play that rival first and get the break? So the reason he didn't play the rival first, I think, was because he only had 4 fate before the conflict, so he would have had to only put 1 fate on it. After getting the 2 fate from the ring, he was able to put 3 fate on it, so now it's going to stay around longer. I believe that's why he played it during the conflict. So one thing you could actually do as Crab here is you can use Satoshi's ability to... So I was saying earlier, the only Imperial card left in his deck is Karada District, and that could actually be one of these face-down cards. But as Crab, you have 12 honor, and you're going to be bidding 1 for the rest of the game, basically. So milling out your Dynasty deck is actually not terrible. So it might actually be correct. Oh, okay. So we see him going Void here. What I might have actually done there is go Earth and then mill my entire Dynasty deck, or most of it, to find my other 2 keepers. I think that would actually not be a terrible play, because I think the best case would actually be you mill most or all of your Dynasty deck and then put all 3 of the keepers in there, and then you get all of them from the Earth Ring, and then next turn your Dynasty reshuffles and you have all your keepers still. so they don't get shuffled back in. I feel like that would have been pretty spicy, but we don't see that happen. He's just going to go Void Ring here, so he wants to kill this Asami. That makes sense. Crane got a Fate from Seeker of Air, and he's going to get a card from Fertile Fields also. So yeah, as Crab, I think you definitely want to see the Reprieve if you... So you can keep Satoshi around for next turn. He was going to break Favorable Grounds, discarding a Savvy Politician and taking the Fate off of Asami. So Crane is going back up to 4 honor, but Crab will be able to attack his Stronghold. Let's see what his Stronghold is. It is Entrenched Position. So, I mean, Crab does have a lot of military here. So we'll see what happens. Okay. So we get an Iron Mine on Crab's side. Crane, we see the Brash Samurai, Cautious Scout, and another Kaizen. Crab is first player, so he's going to go ahead and discard his Kasada dupe. I feel like we see the Witch Hunter and the Yasuki both get played from Crab. EP? What does EP stand for? It's probably something really obvious that I'm just... Oh, entrenched position, right. Yeah, so we could potentially see Crab just go with an all-out attack on the Stronghold here. Yeah, it's entrenched position under the box. The Kaizen duel... So the problem with the Kaizen duel is that your opponent gets to choose the character. So he can just choose Kasada, and that's an auto win for Crab. Yeah, if his duel allowed the Crane player to choose the character, then that might be a little bit better here. But okay, so Action Johnny's gonna bid high here. Not sure why you bid 4 over 5. Yeah, Sodomatic is saying why that 4 bid, not 5. Yeah, I'm not sure why you bid 4. If you're gonna bid high, you might as well just go 5, right? How much honor did Crane have? Gave him 3 honor, so he had 4. Yeah, I don't know. So he's going to use the Wayfinder to reveal entrenched position. We already knew it was there. We see a fine Katana, so maybe he's going to try to pump up this Kaizen. But I still feel like there's no way to win that duel. We'll see. Maybe he has a Legion of 1. And he's going to play a Legion of 1 to buff it up 6. So that'll be 11. But then you have to defend alone. I don't know, we could see it. Send everybody home except Kasada. Unfortunately, the rival will not be able to defend if he goes in on a big attack here. Crab can't even lose this turn, so Crane has to defend twice. Yeah, there's no way for Crab to lose this turn. Crane only has one break. So he can just go in twice at this stronghold. Interesting. So he's actually going in for a small poke attack with a Shrewd Yasuki. This is the Earth Ring. So I actually don't like this. Yeah, so automatic saying, what is that poke? I think this is bad because, yeah, he just defends with the political rival now. And this is actually going to turn off Casada if Crane wins this. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening right now. So we see the rival defend, and if he wants to, he can even, well, he would have to turn off Casada, but he could box the Yasuki. Although that wouldn't really do much. Does Zeitz play debates? Yes, he does have 3 policy debates in his deck. We have seen only one. We see an ornate fan on the Yasuki. Interesting. Crane player passes. Yasuki's gonna look at the top 2 cards of his deck. Yeah, in order to debate, he would have to turn off Casada. He could have used the box. So it might have actually been, I think it might have been the right play. Depending on what's in his hand, it might have been the right play to use the box first action to turn off Casada. So then whatever you wanted to play, you could play it. Because at this point, you can't use box anymore. So if he wants to turn off Casada, he'll have to play a card. Yeah, it looks like Crab is trying to win this. Although all he'll really get out of it is his 1 keeper and a card. And then he'll make Crane discard something. We see a Voice of Honor to cancel court games. That would have put Crab, that would have tied the skills, so Crab would have been winning. That is the 2nd Voice of Honor. So it looks like he has 1 more. Yeah, it's an obvious play. Right, that would have... Yeah, not only would that have tied the skill, it also would have turned off Voice of Honor. So it looks like the Crane... It looks like they're both just going to pass through at that point. So Crab is not going to get the win there. And that is unfortunate because not only is Casada turned off now, but he won't be able to get that keeper. Yeah, I think that poke attack was just not what he should have done there. Maybe if he had 1 more card to play, but even then, Cranes could have a fan also. Yeah, it was weird. So I imagine... Oh. So I guess you attack water here to try and bow that Witch Hunter. Of course, he could just sacrifice the Shrewd Yasuki to stand it back up. So I'm not sure if you want to attack here. Maybe if you have an assassination, you want to try to break the Iron Mine. That could be a consideration. With Kusada off, the defend with Kaizen and Legion and dual play could actually happen. That's true. That would be pretty sick play. And if that is what we see, I think there's actually nothing to stop this Hotaru from getting a double ring effect. So yeah, this whole turn from Crab feels a little bit strange. So it looks like he's still considering whether he wants to attack or not. Okay, he does attack at Meditations with the Void Ring. Okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Where did the Yasuki go? Is this a Way of the Crab? It is a Way of the Crab. Wow. Okay, so that's interesting. So the Way of the Crab is going to just sort of nullify that attack. I think he was going Void Ring because he wanted to deny that. He's probably looking ahead towards next turn. He doesn't want his Hotaru to get Void Ringed. But it does still seem strange. So we're going to see Crab's second attack here. He has 6 Fate. I wonder what he has in his hand. Yeah, we might see an all-in Void military. Again, the other thing is Crab doesn't have to worry about losing this turn. So if he can get that Void Ring and get rid of this Hotaru, that would be pretty nice for him. It looks like he's only highlighting 2 of his characters. Interesting. So he's only going in with the Witch Hunter and Kasada. So that is 13 skill. So he's actually not breaking unless he plays some cards here. We might see a charge for this last Witch Hunter. I don't think he's played... he's actually played 2 charges. Yeah, double Watch Commander in this conflict, but Crane is at 7 honor now, so he can afford to play a card or 2 if he wants. So yeah, we could see the 3rd charge from Crab. We could see... Let's see, what else? Could see a Bonsai, I guess. No, he actually does not have Bonsais in this deck. He must not have a Haruma Skirmisher, or we would have seen that to covert the Kaizen. We do see that he only defends with Kaizen. So we'll see if we get the Legion of One here. He definitely wants to attack with the Hotaru with his political attack. We see a fine katana on the Witch Hunter. I'm not sure why you don't just play that on Kasada, honestly. I think that sort of signals that he has a reprieve in hand. Let's see, what other mill buffs does he have? Still no spyglasses. He could have... so currently he needs 2 more skill to win. Crane is just going to pass because it's not breaking. So he could have the charge, he could have the katana, second katana. Yeah, he's only played one. So he has one charge left, one katana left. Oh wow, he just passes. So why did he even play the katana? He does not run bonsai, no. No bonsais for the crab player. Yeah, that seems like a mistake to play the katana there. Not sure why he did that. Yeah. So the other thing is, I was saying a second ago he needed 2 more skill to break. He has 2 skill worth of characters sitting at home here that he chose not to attack yet with. How late is it where Johnny lives? Yeah, Johnny is in Canada, right? So it should just be like afternoon for him. 2:15 people are saying. 2 p.m. for him. So he's actually in Pacific time zone, I guess. Lives in Vancouver, okay. Yeah, so yeah, I would have maybe liked to, maybe he just didn't do the math on that, but I would have liked to see a full attack there. Yeah, that seems strange. We're gonna see how Taru go into meditations. I wonder what ring you attack. We saw Gaijin Customs to Redihita Kasada. So it looks like he might be trying to win this conflict. Yeah, Watering would make sense, I think, to try and get the favor. Although you would only really get 1 trigger off of it, you wouldn't be able to get Hotaru's double trigger, because unbowing the political rival doesn't really do anything. Okay, so he's going fire. Yeah, Crab already used his political attack, so going water probably wouldn't do much. So with fire here, he probably wants to... I think you definitely honor the Kaizen, and then I'm not sure if you re-honor the rival or... Yeah, use box. Oh, he passes. So Johnny should pass here and just take the win. Okay, he does. That is a big mistake from Crane. Yeah. So, I mean, Johnny definitely wanted to use his Shrewd Yasuki. Yeah, he's realizing that he should have used box. That is unfortunate. Johnny apparently didn't even realize. So both players actually forgot. The use box meme is still alive, yep. So this is, once again, we're going to have a much bigger board from the crab player. Not getting that double fire ring and also not getting favor that's a pretty big mistake from Crane there. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so he would have actually had favor with Yoshi if he won that. Crab can just buy all 3 characters with no fate if he wants and go for a big attack. We'll see what Crane does. Okay, we see the Shuichi with 2 fate. I think you play this in the Borderlands Defender. Crane is losing so slowly, yeah. I mean, he's not in danger of a dishonor loss anymore, so that's something. See, another Hotaru. I definitely want to play the Borderlands Defender, but you also might just pass to get the fate. Yeah, he does play the Borderlands Defender. I think that's the right play. Yeah, Crane decided not to play the Guest of Honor there. So both of the players are going back up to medium to high bids at this point. Johnny still has not seen a spyglass. He would really like to see one to put on Shuichi here, I think. Yeah, so if you play the Guest of Honor, then you don't get to play Hotaru. So I think I actually... I mean, it's hard to say. So we're seeing the Cautious Scout attacking at Fertile Fields. He's attacking water, that makes sense. So just defend with Kasada maybe? Or the Witch Hunter, either way. We've already seen the 1x admit defeat, so you don't have to worry about that. Ooh, we're actually seeing a big defense here. Potentially. Yeah, so I'm not sure why you defend with that many characters. That seems like an over-defend. I can see defending with the Yasuki also to get the card draw, but the Borderland Defender doesn't really make a lot of sense. What card could he be worried about here? Yeah, I don't know what he was even worried about there. Maybe Legion of One into Bonsai? That's so expensive though. 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, we see an ornate fan, so I think that means we're about to see a policy debate. He has 2 policy debates. We've seen 1 already. So yeah, there's the other policy debate. Legion of One, Assassination, Charge, Court Games. 2 ready for battles. So you could take the Legion of One. He takes the Charge. Interesting. There aren't really... I mean, I guess you could charge Guest of Honor. Okay, wait. Okay. So he assassinates the scout to draw a card with Fertile Fields. That's kind of funny. Yeah, it really doesn't make sense then to defend with all 3 of these, though. Yeah. Like, you definitely don't defend with the Borderlands Defender. I guess he really wanted to draw 2 cards. But yeah, there's no reason to defend with Borderlands Defender there, I think. Did he use the Yasuki? Yes, he did. Okay, good. Yeah, so the Shuichi Kasada attack with the Witch Hunter also is pretty dangerous here. He would be at 4, 5, 6, 7, plus 8 is 15, plus 3 is... Oh, and there's a Skirmisher also, so this just got even worse for Crane. So now he's going to be able to covert both of these characters. So, yeah, I don't know if there's actually a way out for Crane now. I think that might just be the game. Yeah, because he doesn't... Yeah, he didn't have anything in his hand except the charge. So yeah, there's no way. So, I mean, I guess it's fine to defend with all 3 then, if you know you're going to win anyway, but I think defending with Borderlands Defender still doesn't make any sense. Yeah, this should just be a Stronghold break. And he did see a Spyglass. Yeah, I mean, at this point, it kind of just feels like BM. There doesn't appear to be anything Crane can do. So, can just go ahead and attack here. Yeah. Initiated a military conflict with skill 20. And yeah, there's the GG. Does not defend. Yeah, so that's just going to be the game there. Crane player passes. jokingly saying that Action Johnny almost gave him a stroke. Yep, entrenched position breaks, and Crab wins the game. So that's going to be it. It looks like Action Johnny is going to go into another crane matchup after this, playing against Ruffalo's. So he'll have to do it again. That crane is splashing dragon though, so that game should go a little differently. I'm kind of disappointed we didn't get to see the Frostbitten Crossing this game. That was under the last face down province. I don't think I've ever actually seen that province get played before. But yeah, Johnny will advance to the top 16. Let's see. It looks like we have... Ooh. So... It looks like we have a crab player here. I actually don't recognize this crab player. Zelo is back. They made it to top 16 playing against Kingsley. Looks like your standard crab unicorn splash. No Satoshi, unfortunately. Two Finger of Jades. Yeah, that's an interesting deck list. And then Kingsley playing Dragon, probably just the classic Dragon list. So that matchup's probably going to depend on... Yeah, so not having Satoshi is actually going to... Johnny won Stronghold break. So not having Satoshi is actually going to hurt that crab player in that matchup, because when you're playing against Dragon, a lot of it depends on whether the crab can find Karada District. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. And then down here at the bottom, we had a crab mirror matchup, which I believe happened earlier today, and QQ won that one. Let's see what his deck list looks like. Again, just Crab Unicorn. So yeah, Crab Unicorn really coming back into favor. But yeah, so 3 crab players left in Season 5 Cup, it looks like. Not terrible. Hopefully we'll see... We only have 1 Scorpion player, it looks like, so not a very good chance Scorpion will win again. You talking about Kingsley's deck? Yeah, Kingsley is running the Copy of Test deck, the classic Dragon with Crab. Yeah. I wonder how Crab's doing in the LCQ, actually. So Action Johnny is actually playing his LCQ game tomorrow, so we'll get to see that. Against another crane. Man, he is playing against all the cranes this season. He is actually the only crab player left in the LCQ. So we'll have to root for him there. But yeah, check his deck name. If you're talking about Kingsley, this is Kingsley's deck. It's Copy of Test. Oh, you're asking what's with Copy of Test name? Yeah. So that's kind of just a joke. I think, I can't remember who it was. I think Mind's Desire might have had a deck that was just named Test, and then Kingsley made a copy of it, so he called it Copy of Test, and now that's always just what he names his deck. Yeah. Oh, QQ's deck. Copy of Test. Okay. So yeah, that's just same thing basically. He's just being funny. Yeah, he stole the meme. Alright, well, I think that's going to do it for the stream today. We should be back again tomorrow with another Action Johnny game if I get to cast that one as well. So thanks for watching. See everybody next time.